Hey guys, it's the Wasteland Girl Detective, and after my little Christmas break, I'm back for a video on carnivore agility buffs. Did I really care about agility before the raids? Not as much as I should have, but with raids coming out, they seem to be much more important. So agility basically is related to AP. It helps with your VATS build, your sprinting, your power attacking, and stealth. There are quite a few carnivore agility food buffs. As usual, if you've watched my other videos, I'm going to go through the top tier ones that are the ones that give you the highest agility buff. First one is ground mole rat meat, which sounds super gross. Boiled water, mole rat meat, pepper, silt bean, and wood. Delicious looking softshell crab cake with Softshell Mirelurk, spices, Tato, and boiled water and wood, of course. Smoked Scorchedbeast lung. Caveat with this one is it only lasts 30 minutes, but you only need one ingredient. And then the last one, squirrel on a stick. You need squirrel bits, sugar, and wood. I don't usually make this one because I use my squirrel bits for tasty squirrel stew, but we will look at a few locations for that stuff. The other top tier ones are fried rad roach on a stick and fried scorpion on a stick. I discovered I don't actually have the recipes for that because I don't like doing Nuka World events. Luckily, Betty has them. So like Yao Guai pastry and gulper stuffed foot, if I need a bunch of them, I usually just hop worlds because her vendor inventory resets with each new world. I'm going to do something a little bit different with this video. I'm going to do all the animal locations first for the meat, then veggies, then condiments, then a few tips at the end, and everything will be timestamped so you can skip where you need to go. So let's start out with meat and mole rats. So we're going to go to Golly Mine and making sure we have Butcher's Bounty equipped. We're going to fast travel to the Golly Mine main entrance. Now, I never remember to equip Butcher's Bounty when I'm filming for a video. There's also a magazine you can use, Backwoodsman 1. I happen to be out of them. I usually use them when I'm hunting Scorchedbeast. Increase the chance that you'll get more meat out of your kills. So if you have them, use them. If you still need more, you can always go to Green Country Lodge. There's usually 3 that spawn here. Were there 3 today? Of course not. But yeah, this is usually a pretty fixed spawn for them. And here they are. But I mean, mole rats can be found all over the place. These are just the places that I like to go. You can also hit events like Tunnel of Love, where there's quite a few mole rats that spawn in there. Maybe get that recipe I didn't get from Tunnel of Love. Next up is mirelurks. We'll go to Spruce Knob Lake, and we need that Softshell Mirelurk crab. You might recall being traumatized here trying to complete the swimming test for the Pioneer Scouts badge. Also, softshell crab meat can drop from any mirelurk. It doesn't have to be a softshell mirelurk. Quite a few places to find mirelurks. These are just my locations that I go to. Next location is Max Farm. And as you can see just right there, there is a possible loose mod box spawn. So there's another reason I come here for my mirelurk stuff. I had terrible luck finding softshell mirelurk meat, but that's usually only when I'm filming for a video. You can also check out Sunrise Field. Max Farm and Sunrise Field both have Mirelurk Queen spawns as well if you're looking for that to make an endurance buff. You can go west of Somerville. I mean, you can complete, what's that one that I hate doing? Dogwood Die Off. Here I've traveled to Ohio River Adventures. See, there's an actual softshell crab, and they didn't have softshell crab meat on them. It's just my cake that was done. It's just chance that the softshell drops. Events you can complete: Heart of the Swamp, Swarm of Suitors, Dogwood Die-Off, like I said, spawn at all these events. Next, we're looking for squirrels. We're going to 98 NAR Regional. If you've watched my Carnivore XP buff videos, this will be familiar. This is one of my go-to spots for squirrels. There's only really 2 world spots that I will hit for actual squirrels, because between these 2 spots and vendors, usually you get enough squirrel bits for what you need. Next, we're gonna hit up the exterior of the White Spring Resort, not the north entrance, just the regular one. And if you've got it, this is where you pop the berry mentats, because sometimes A, they don't spawn in right away, or B, they're just really hard to find. You will, however, sometimes find a few molerats over here. And there's the squirrels. Sometimes you get some rabbits as well. Seasonal events like Graham's Meat Cook or Fashionat, you can clean up with them. There's just tons of them. But those only usually happen, once a year? Maybe twice a year? Scorchedbeast lungs, I'm really just briefly talking about it. The roof of Watauga Civic Center, you can find a Scorchedbeast nest there. On the roof of the Watauga Municipal Center, you can find a Scorchedbeast nest. There's fisher sites. If you do scorched earth, line in the sand, surface to air, there's
and of course,
so many different ways
farm them
you
at fishers
get the
sites.
Scorchedbeast meat
For scorched earth.
It does only last 30 minutes
surface to air.
So more and more, I think a lot of people are trying to get away from these short food buffs, because you don't want to every 30 minutes constantly be trying to check on your food buffs. It's nice if you can go an hour. Now the plant side or veggie side of it. So for corn, really only one place you need to go. You fast travel to Silva Homestead. And actually, before we get to the corn, we're just going to hit one place. So on the right side of the highway where you spawn in, there are Tatos that you can pick. Make sure you have your green thumb perk card activated. And we will need Tatos, but this is just on the way to the corn. There's a Huff Warbler teapot there if you have scrapped yours accidentally. Carrots, ash rose. Yeah, it's a neat little spot. But the jackpot for corn is across the road. Out here, you can see there's tons of wild corn, which will work for our recipes, or you can plant it in your little farm in your camp and have corn on hand there for recipes as you need them. Lewis & Son Farming Supplies, literally the best place to go get plantable crops for your camp, especially starting off. There is pretty much almost everything here. So there's Tatos, there's actually corn there, there's corn behind us, and then if we pop outside, there is a little garden with more items. Yeah, just the perfect to come for your starter garden. Next, we're gonna head to Flatwoods for some silt beans. So there's silt bean here, and then if we go around, there's another few beds of silt bean. And then somehow I neglected, there's a little mini farm that has silt bean that's kind of just on the outskirts of Flatwoods. If you kept going straight, you would run into this little mini garden with some silt bean and mutt fruit and a mole rat, and there's one or two there. And the last place we're gonna hit is West Virginia Lumber Co. There are quite a few silt bean locations all over the map. These are the ones that I hit. But if you have some favorite locations I didn't mention, feel free to drop those in the comments. So this is nighttime when I'm here, which makes it a little bit harder to find the silt beans because they're small plants. You kind of have to look for that orange and white pod. There are quite a few plants here though, and if you get the verdant season, you know where it pops up like it's the verdant season in the forest, you get a chance of extra yield on the plants. Okay, the last ingredients you need, I'm kind of just going to lump together: sugar, spice, and pepper. First place we're going to go to is Point Pleasant, and that's where we're going to find our sugar. So on the outside of town, opposite this bus shelter, you can go up the fire escape in here, and there is five or six sugars. Just depends if you can get them all. So that's 5. And then, oh, and there's a bunch of rad roaches. If you ever need rad roach meat, this is the place to go. There's a sugar that is under the bed. So if you have grenades, you can try and get that out. I was not able to get it out. It's a pain. Next, we're gonna head to the Wayward, where we'll find some pepper and some salt. Here's the deal: salt, pepper, spices, sugar. If you see it, just pick it up. It's all over the wasteland. These are just spots that I go to when I'm looking for it. But honestly, if I'm any place in the wasteland and I see salt, pepper, spices, or sugar, I pick it up. Unless I've got like 150 salt, which happens as well. Because you're gonna need them for most of the food buffs that you make. It's just a good habit to pick up. Next, I've traveled to Helvetia. So there's quite a few condiments here that you can pick up. You just have to deal with the scorched that are hanging out here as well. Inside Freya's house, you just need to get rid of these guys. I'm using my holy fire because this way stuff doesn't explode all over the place. So go through, I've been here a few times, so spawns are kind of off a little bit. You can server hop if you need to, and just have a look around Freya's house, and you should be able to find quite a few. And then heading in here, if you make your way over to the kitchen, there are a few. We'll just deal with these guys first. Yeah, so you can find some items here. And then there's one other spot. So the honey house has some spawns in there as well. Mountainside bed and breakfast, that's the spot I hit. I'm not going to do it this video. Just go in the building and there's a few of them in the kitchen. And with that, that's the ingredients that we need for those 4 agility food buffs that I talked about. You'll also need wood and boiled water. I'm not going to cover them. They're pretty basic crafting ingredients. Definitely recommend throwing up that boiled water producer resource in your camp if you have it. If not, you can just hit a body of water, collect the dirty water, and then cook it up at a cook station, cook fire, etc. Wood, you could just collect that in bulk or find logs laying around and gather it that way. So just my last few, I don't know, I guess you could call them tips, but they're not really. If you are hitting up vendors looking for, I don't know, gift wrap, whatever, and by vendors, I'm talking about, the NPC vendors in the world, like for example, at the White Springs, a lot of times you will find under food that they have things that you need: salt, pepper, spices, squirrel bits. You can actually come away with quite a few squirrel bits. just hitting the White Springs Mall. There's also Marie. She is the like cooking vendor there. So she'll have like a selection of meats, and then beside her is Antoine, and he has recipes. I usually try and hit the White Springs Mall when I'm playing, and some of the other NPC vendors in the rest of the world, just because they're a really good source. It's easy, it's quick, it's right there. If you're not aware, you can also go upstairs in the White Springs Refuge. You can have a seat at a table, and one of the waiters or waitresses will come take your order, and they have prepared foods. So if you travel to your camp and you go visit your camp ally Yasmin, if you're ever active, she will also have a selection of prepared foods and recipes if you need them. Some camp resources that I didn't cover. This is for the creation of buffs. And one of them I actually don't have. If you have the Thrasher Station, which is not pictured here, it will produce meat. However, somehow I missed it when it was available and I didn't pick it up. So I'll be watching for that, and I'll talk about it in a future video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. If feedback, I'm so excited for 2025. I have quite a few things to plan. Hopefully I can execute them, but until then, thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.